It's that time again. Captain Protein here. And today we are going to cook protein donuts baked with olive oil and a little bit of protein powder and some strawberry glaze and a vanilla glaze on the top. Your traditional Dunkin' Donuts donut, made healthier, but without changing the flavor. Okay, so here it goes. You're gonna have your pans. You're gonna wanna get these donut pans right here for baking, because you're gonna put them in the oven and bake them, okay? You got there. Preheat your oven. Remember, always preheat your oven before you start at 375. It's already preheated. It's at 375, okay? Now, I get a little bit better, so always carry your recipe with you. I always look at it, no matter how long I've been baking, just in case I may forget something. I like to have it around. And I have this little plastic clipboard here so it doesn't get wet. All right, so we're getting fancy here now, okay? All right, so now, today, let's start off with our first ingredients. First we're gonna do is we're gonna put all our liquid in our sugars. So we're gonna start off with our butter. No, we're gonna start off with our butter and oil. It calls for vegetable oil, but I'm gonna show you something really cool. See that? Light tasting olive oil. Doesn't change the flavor, but it puts the omega-3, 6, and 9 in there, which is really good for you. So I'm going to use that instead, okay? So it's calling for a quarter cup. We're going to put a quarter cup of our light tasting olive oil. You can get this at any store. I happen to get this at Walmart. I don't know, there's other places you should carry it as well. You could try other olive oils as well. I mean, maybe not. It probably wouldn't matter, but I just so happens I used this when I first did it. All right, so there we go. We have our olive oil in there, our light tasting olive oil. Next thing we're gonna put in here is going to be, we're gonna put our butter in here. We need 4 tablespoons. So 4 tablespoons of butter. That's a half a stick of butter. I got my cutting board here, so I can cut it right on my cutting board. You want to get the butter out because you're going to want to have it melted. This way, when you're mixing it, it'll all mix together. So we got 4 sticks. I'm going to break it up in little chunks here, if you see. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Oh man, protein donuts made with olive oil. Can that really happen? Yeah, it's great. And it tastes awesome. It tastes better than Dunkin' Donuts. Next thing is going to be our sugars. We're going to be a half a cup of granulated sugar. So we got our regular granulated sugar that our great-grandmas and grandmas ate. So it's in our DNA. Our bodies can absorb it the best way. Better than those artificial sweeteners. All right. So we got a half cup of sugar. Right there. Next ingredient is going to be light brown or brown sugar. I happen to have dark brown, so I'm going to use my dark brown. I'm going to use a 1/3 cup. So I'm going to use a 1/3 of a cup here. I am going to take my half cup and use a little bit in that. That's about a 1/3 of a cup there. And stick that in there. Now we got our sugars. We got our butter. We got our oil. Now we're going to beat this up together with our mixer. Put this on here. Put it in. And then we're going to cream that up. Look at that going around. Oh yes, brown sugar, just like Grandma made. Grandma's donuts. Come on, what could be better than that? I'll tell you what could be better. when you put a little protein in it and a little bit of olive oil. Yes, Grandma, I'm going to make it a little bit better, but I promise you I will not change the flavor. That is the key. We do not want to change the flavor. And remember, eating is all about portion control too. You don't want to be a gabone, and eat like 30. Eat a couple, and you'll be fine. That's why you want to use regular whole ingredients. All right, so we got this mixed up here nice. This is all coming together good. All right, now about 2 minutes. Now I'm gonna take my trusty Julia Child spatula out, and I'm gonna make sure all the stuff on the bottom. If you could, Mr. Cameraman, if you could point it down in there, you see how that looks? There you go. It should sort of look like that. Now we got that there. Now we're ready. We're gonna add our egg. We're gonna add our baking powder and our eggs first before we do that. That's our dry ingredients. Okay. Misspoke. We're going to add our eggs now, and I use the omega-3 6-9 eggs, the Egglands in the white container. All right, you want to use those because they're healthier. The hens eat what they're supposed to eat. All right, crack them in there. That's one. Whole egg. Number two. Boom. And good, because a little piece of shell went in there, and it reminded me, because I was going to tell you, always check the bottom, make sure a piece of a shell doesn't go in. And here's a little piece of a shell. See that? Got in there, so we're going to throw that out. Okay, now we're going to, as they say, mix that around. I'm going to put that on about a 2. Let that all whip up nice and good together. That's whipping up nice. And vanilla's gonna go here. Put her back. Alright. Here we go. Woo-hoo-hoo. You can spin the dance. The mixing dance. Alright. Boys and girls. Oh, that's looking nice and creamy in there. Look how that looks. That's how that should look in there. That looks perfect. Okay, now we're going to add a little baking powder. We're going to add 1 and 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder. I got my baking powder here. So we got 1 teaspoon. Okay. We got a half, but I got a little quarter, so I'm going to have to do two of those. 1, 2. We got that in there. Now we'll set that aside. Our baking powder. We're gonna use our baking soda. We're gonna put a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda in there. So we got a little 1/4 teaspoon here. See, it's a little small one. And put that in there. And then we're going to do our vanilla. Remember, always to check teaspoon and tablespoon, because you could get mixed up. We make our bagels. Sometimes you don't look properly. When you're supposed to add a tablespoon, you add a teaspoon, or vice versa. Then you add too much. All right, now we are going to put in our vanilla. So we're going to put in, this recipe here calls for 1 teaspoon. I'm going to put 1 teaspoon, but I like to put a little bit more. I like vanilla, so I like to be a little generous. There we go. Woo-hoo! A little overflow. I like vanilla, so put a little in there. Can never hurt. So we got the vanilla in there. Now we're going to put some salt in there. We're going to put 3/4 teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to use my little 1/4 pounder here. We got 1, 2, and 3 in there. Okay, now the salt's in there. Now we're good to go with the salt. Now what we're going to do is we're going to mix this up. Get that all mixing up in there. Looking good. All right, that's going here. Okay, now I'm gonna take my trusty spatula. Make sure that's all mixed in on the sides. There's nothing you want to scrape the sides because some of that baking soda and baking powder will get to the side of there. So make sure that that's not there. There we go. All right. Woo! You're getting excited here. Oh, this is unbelievable. All right, come on now. Donuts. Oh, who doesn't love donuts, man? Woo! All right, so here we go now. We're going to let that mix for about 30 seconds. The next thing we're going to do is add our flour. And we're going to open it. So the next thing we do, boom, turn this off. We're going to need two, let me see, 2 2/3 cups. 2 2/3 cups of unbleached flour. Okay, so what I'm going to do is see, I don't want my flour to have any lumps in it, so I'm going to use a strainer. So this way it takes the lumps out, and then I'll put it in like that. So this way it's smooth, you don't have any chunks in there. All right, so you're going to alternate when we're doing this. You're going to alternate, like switch stance, alternate left, right. We're going to alternate between flour and milk in between. All right, so we're going to add about a cup of milk. I'll show you in a second. All right, so first we got 1 cup here of flour. All right, I got to put my flour in my strainer. I'm going to strain it out there. Look at that. Yoo-hoo. Oh, I can taste these now. All right, good. All right, which by the way, I made this and with the last time we made them, we ate them all in one night. I know. Sorry, but I must admit they were that good. All right, now we get the flour mixture in there. Okay, we're gonna mix that in. Nice slow speed. Put it on like three. By the way, it's a Farberware. This is a great. I got this at actually Walmart, like $120. You got other ones that are like $500, $600, $1,200. This thing works fine. Now, when you mix that up, what you're gonna want to do is mix up for about 60 seconds to 2 minutes. Okay, so turn it up. That's about right. I'm also gonna remember have your trusty spatula available because now I'm gonna. If you can see the sides there have some flour in them. Scrape those sides like that. Okay, so that's in there. Get that in there. Get everything in there. Right. Every little thing matters. Every little thing in your recipe matters. Everything. Just like the nodes on a computer. If one node breaks, the whole computer doesn't work. So if you miss one little ingredient, you're not going to have Grandma's donuts, are you? Come on. All right. It's the small things that matter. So here, now we're going to take our milk in our trusty fridge. And we're going to call for a cup. And you know, when you make sure you always check your ingredients because if you're cooking out of your home and you have family, you know, people in the family in the middle of the night drink all your milk, and then you're out of milk, and you go to make your stuff, and there's no milk. So, you know, but that's the beauty of a family, all right? So now I'm going to put I'm going to put a half cup of milk in here. So I got a half cup of milk. All right. We got a half cup of milk. Which, by the way, I'm gonna actually keep this container and put my son's name, Sean, on it. So this way, this is his milk and the other one's mine. All right. So now we get the milk in there. Now we're gonna let that spin up. Spin it at a low speed because remember you're putting milk in there. It'll splash all over the place. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add another cup of flour. Let's add a cup of flour here, boys. Another cup. We got a cup of flour. Here's our cup. Here's our strainer. And put it in our strainer. They're going to strain it up there. Yee-hoo! Yes, look at that. And you can press your fingers if you get anything hard because you might. What's also good too, sometimes flour may have a little pebble rock in it, believe it or not, when you buy it, because that's what happens when they're making it at the factories. All right, so now we're going to put that other cup of flour in there. That's in there nice. Gonna mix this up gently. Mix that up. Next thing we'll mix is our milk. That's mixing up there nice. All right, here we go. Mix that up. All right, I put it on about 3 for about a minute. There it goes. All right, then we're going to let that go there. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to scrape the sides. Okay, now we're going to add some more milk. We're going to add the other half a cup of milk we're supposed to add in there. We're going to add it from Big Daddy's milk. That's what we're going to write on this one. All right, so there we go. Then mix it up. Remember, you put the liquid in there. Don't mix it too hard. Because if you mix it too hard, what's going to happen is if you put the mixer on too fast, you're going to have milk splash all in your face. And then not only that, you're going to lose some of your wet ingredients that you want. All right, so now I'm going to mix that up. You can see the speed. We got it on like a 2 on a Farberware. All right, that's mixing up nice. All right, now we're going to turn it off. And once again, I'm going to take my trusty spatula, make sure everything is off the sides. Put that down. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put 3/4 of a cup of flour. Because 2/3 of a cup. So what I'm going to do is, I have a full cup, so I'm going to eyeball it because I kind of know. I don't have a 1/3 cup. So I'm going to eyeball it 2/3. And actually, it could be a little light because I'm going to add protein powder, so which would probably be about another 1/4 cup. So let's put that again in our trusty strainer. I'm going to strain that out. Okay, now I'm going to take a scoop of unflavored whey protein powder, and I'm going to put 1 scoop in. I'm going to add about 30 grams. I'm going to add that scoop in, and we're going to strain this too. I mean, you can use a flavored one too, vanilla if you want, but I'm using the unflavored because the sugar and stuff will mask the flavor. So we're going to strain that up there. Put it through the now we're gonna put this mix. Okay, that's gonna go in there nice. Now we're gonna put that down and mix that up. We put our milk away. So we don't need it. We need our milk for when we eat the donut. Can't have a donut cookie without milk. I remember growing up, we used to get the milk from the front of our house. There was a steel little, sort of like a cooler, like a steel little cooler. I know you people in your 60s will remember that, maybe 50s, maybe not. And the milkman will come and deliver milk in these big glass bottles. Oh, you talk about like fresh and unbelievable. It was so good out of that glass bottle. It was amazing. I remember that as a kid. Okay, we're gonna mix that up. Mix that whole mixture up there. Let that mix. We're gonna save for about 2 minutes. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to turn it down again. I'm going to take my spatula and I'm going to get the flour off the sides that went to the side. Put that there. I'm going to mix that up. Mix that nice and slow. All right, so now, Key, how do you know if your batter is too dry or too wet? If it's the right consistency, because it's going to be semi-thick, is if there's a furrow. So I'll show you when I put my spatula in there, and you don't want to get a wooden spatula. You want to get one of the rubber ones. They're far better. They're easier to clean, but they're far better. The stuff comes off. And with the wood ones, all this stuff gets inside the crannies and stuff. And the wood breaks off too, by the way. All right, so we're mixing it up. I'm gonna mix a little. Put it on a little higher speed. I'm going to put it down. I had it at 3, now I'm putting it up to 2, so the rest of that comes off. Alright. So, I'm going to take my spatula off. I'm going to show you boys and girls how this should look. Okay, now, what you want is, woo! Protein donuts with olive. So a little furrow. So when I go like this, look. See how that see that furrow right there? I left like a mark. So you should leave that there like that. That's how you know that's thick enough. All right, so now that's thick enough here. We're gonna set that to the side for now. Because what we're gonna do is we're going to put them in the pan. All right, you're going to need a spoon. Put them in a pan. And what you're going to do with your pans is you're probably going to want to get about 6 of these things. All right, these are made by Wilton. What you're going to want to do is you're going to grease. I'm going to grease the inside of these things. So we're going to take these and grease these. I'm going to grease them with some butter. I'm going to use butter. What I usually do is I'll take a little paper towel here and I'll put a little butter on my paper towel like this, and then I'll just scoop it in there. I'll show you real quick. Get it in all the sides. All in there. Yee-hee-hee. Yes, a little butter in there. Come on sweetie. Put that there. Put the butter in there. There we go. Yee-hoo. That's one. Let's do the next one. All right, here we go. Here. Look at that. I'm gonna put the butter in there. Butter them up. That's it. All right, you see. Remember my mom when I was 12 years old? I went to home economics class in school. It was only like 4 boys in it, the rest were girls because I love cooking. And taught us how to make sour cream crumb cake. And I used to come home and make it. And I'd tell my mom to pull the shades because I didn't want any of the kids to see me baking. Laugh out loud. Who would have known like 50 years later that that's how I actually made a living from this. Thank you, Mom, for inspiring me to follow my passion. Remember, your passion is your gift. That's what you're gifted at. Because you're going to keep doing it until you perfect it. All right, now, those are all greased up. Now what we're going to do is you're going to fill it to you want to fill it to like there's a 1/4 inch from the top. So I'll do one for you. All right, so I got my trusty little spoon here. All right, I'm going to go around in the inside here. You see how thick that batter is? That's how it should be. All right, there we go. In there. Put a little bit more. Don't worry if you get any stuff on the middle of the thing, on that little middle donut knot there, or the donut hole they call it. Not a big deal, because it's going to bake over a little bit anyway, so you might have a little bit. And this way you'll have a little bit more donut. Okay, there we go there. That should be about a 1/4 inch. Take it off the top. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is, if you see like this here, I'm gonna show you, and pat that down. So you see that there? You should still be able to see the middle thing here. You can wipe some of the stuff off if you want. If you don't, not a big deal because it'll be actual bake like. But there you have it, folks. There's how you fill your donut maker, your baked donuts, and I'm gonna fill the rest of them. I'll see you when they're filled and when they're coming out of the oven. All right, remember 375. You're going to make these at 375, and you're going to set your timer for about 10 to 12 minutes. But remember, 10 minutes, you must check them at the 7-minute mark, 8 minutes, just to make sure that they're coming out right, or they may even be done, depending upon your oven. Ovens change. All right, we'll see you. We're going to take a short break. We'll see you when they're coming out of the oven. Woo! Okay, we're back. Now they came out of the oven. I just pulled them out of the oven, and this is what the tops are going to look like. Slight, not even really brown, slightly. Because what's going to happen is, look how brown that is in the bottom. So that's going to be your bottom. This is going to be the top that you ice on the top. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make our vanilla glaze that's going to go on the top. We're going to need a 1.5 cups of confection. I'm going to put it through my strainer here. So we've got a 1.5 cups of confection sugar. Here we go. 1.5 cups. I'll put it in the strainer. Strain it so there's no lumps. There we go. Mix it around there. Sift it through. some little lumps, just press on the lumps there. Okay. Now, cup and a half, we got another half cup to go in there. Put that in there. That's about the rest of my bag. Cup and a half, put it through the strainer. There we go. All right, I'm going to need one tablespoon of melted butter. I'm going to put it in the microwave about 25 seconds. That should be enough. And we need milk. I got a nice little bowl set up for the milk here. I'm going to pour the milk in there. You're going to want to also have a wire rack here. I have a wire rack here. I'm going to put them on the wire rack with parchment paper underneath. So this way when we glaze them, any glaze that comes off, it'll fall on the parchment paper. Alright. That should be melted. That's all melted. I'm going to put that in our confection mix for our glaze. Then we're going to take 1 tablespoon of milk. You want to put in a little bit at first, because what's going to happen is you could always add more. If you add too much, then you're going to have to add more powdered sugar, and then it'll be runny. Now we're also going to do a half teaspoon of vanilla. Where is our vanilla? Should be out on the counter. Here's our vanilla out on the counter. Okay. See, we didn't put everything away, so my mom would be mad at me. All right, so we got a half teaspoon. It's a quarter. Half, okay. Now we're going to mix that mixture together. I like to use a fork. Let's see how that comes out. All right. It's going to be thick, so I'm going to add a little. I'm going to add another tablespoon of milk. Let's see how that comes out. You'd be surprised how much milk, how little milk you need for your frosting top. All right, there we go. Okay, it should be. That almost looks like it's kind of. I'll mix up a little more. It's a little too thick, so I'm going to add a little tiny bit of milk. Remember, the milk goes. You don't want to add too much milk because it'll make it too runny. Then you're going to have to add more confection. Alright, let's add a little bit more. And then we should be good to go. You have it, folks. It should look like this. See how it just about starts to fall off? That's a good glaze. Oh. Alright, let's start with our first donut. Right here. And like I said, don't worry about the middle. See how there's stuff still cake in the middle? Throw it in the middle, leave that. That's fine because some of the frosting could go in there. So now I'm going to take this part, the light end part, and I'm going to put it in my glaze. Place it down there if you see what I'm doing. I'm putting it down. I'm going to, look at that. Look how thick that is. That is. Do a little better. There we go. See, I like a thick glaze. Look at that glaze on that donut. Look at that glaze. That is, I like it a little extra thick. So now, and then the next one I'm going to do one more for you. So that's a vanilla glaze. Next one I'm going to do is I'm going to do a cookies and cream. So I took some mini Oreos and I chopped them up. And now I'm going to put this in the glaze. So we're going to put our donut in our glaze. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go around there. And if you can see that, there is our, look at that puppy. There is our cookies and cream. So you got your cookies and cream. And now well, there you have it. You have a vanilla frosted that's thick. I like it extra thick. Then you have your cookies and cream. And there you have it. You have your protein donut. Got about 22 grams of protein in it. Made with also light tasting olive oil. So you get your omega-3, 6, and 9. So there you have it. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel. And Captain Protein says, say your prayers, do your exercises, eat your Captain Protein cookie, and you too can be a superhero in your own life. Ooh. Woo!